What up, what up, what up, Metalbees? How's it going, guys? So we're switching things up a little bit this week, and instead of our regular vlog style, I took to Instagram. Here's my Instagram here. I'm gonna put it in my hands like this.
How?
Let me just put a little screen.
She's learning how to edit, you guys. Look at her go.
So I took to Instagram and I basically asked you all if you all had any questions, and we would come to you all with answers. So that's what this video is today. We're just gonna address the questions that we got from my Instagram post. I'm basically gonna read them off my phone, and then we're gonna kind of talk back and forth about them. So of course we got the kids question. We're just gonna go ahead and get that one out of the way right now. We've actually been talking about the kids question again really recently between Shelby and I, because my mom actually passed back in June. And that kind of re-engaged the discussion of like, you don't want to have kids too old, because then, I mean, your kid doesn't have a parent when they're 25 years old and then for the rest of their life. So we kind of started talking about it, and it seems like I had always thought it was a later than sooner kind of thing, but it seems like it's going to be a sooner than later kind of thing.
Oh, I don't know about that. But
not that soon. I mean, but like relatively speaking, we're not waiting until we're 40 to like...
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? We've been saying later for like 5 years.
Later is still not now. But yeah, we got a couple other things we want to check off of our list before we start having kiddos. One of them being, we'd like to move back to Austin in like a year or two. So we're kind of working on getting our funds right for that, because it really just seems like a great space to raise kids. Not saying that San Antonio isn't, but I think we can both, I don't want to speak for Shelby, but I think I can agree that, I kind of would think it's a little more fun raising kids there than in San Antonio.
Well, I think that Austin feels like somewhere we would want to be for the length of a kid's life. We know San Antonio.
The length of a kid's life.
Well, I was going to say forever, but I feel like not forever, because once our families aren't here, we will probably also maybe leave Texas.
Yeah, guys.
Hopefully.
Shelby... we get into it, I feel like, every other month about like, it's so hot, and like for her going outside is like very unpleasant, because it gets into triple degree temperatures here. So it's a big thing of like, if it's really that unbearable for you to live here, then should we consider moving somewhere further north?
Yeah, but I was just saying, like, we always knew that moving to San Antonio was temporary, and so it would make more sense to at least, even if we don't move into our forever home, the first house we buy in Austin, to at least be in Austin before we started anything with kids.
Yeah.
And we also, like, the pandemic has been a real bummer, because this was going to be a year packed with travel. Like, we had so many plans, and obviously that's not happening now, which, fine, but there's just other things we want to do before we have kids. So how do we want to get kids is probably part of that.
Yeah, that's another discussion, because I think Shelby and I can both agree that we do not want to bear children. Like, that's not in the plan whatsoever. So it's really like looking into what resources are available to us and then kind of going from there. But we don't have a concrete, like, we're getting kids in a year. But I mean, it'll probably be another question that we have to update on another Q&A, just to see how like things are progressing, moving towards that goal.
I mean, we want to adopt, but from what we hear, it can be incredibly expensive. Like, dropping $50K to adopt 2 kids, because we want 2 kids. I mean, I do. I think she does too.
Yeah, just so the kid could have a friend. I don't want to have just one kid. But.
And so yeah, the estimates are like upwards of $50K. I heard that you get a lot of that back in taxes, but still that's a hefty chunk of money to give up. So I don't know. That's what we want to do. Probably, yeah, within the next 3 to 4 years. Who knows if we'll even literally be relevant on the internet by then. But that is the goal. And what else was I going to say about kids? 2 of them. We want to adopt them. We move into Austin. That's it, right? That's everything.
Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps that question up. So next question that came in was, how was China? And that is referencing our trip that we took to China while we were in college. It was a pretty cool trip that we got to go on as a part of our studies in school, right? It was actually pretty amazing to go there and see like such a different way of living, like it's very different than the US. There are a lot more people, everything is a lot more condensed. and the regulations on things are a lot more lax, I would say.
Well, on some things. On some things not.
Yeah.
We almost got arrested at Tiananmen Square for taking a picture. It's a communist country, so their laws are very different, some of them. And I'm not really sure what you meant by their regulations are lax.
Oh, I was specifically like talking about how the air quality there is just, it's something else, guys. Like, be thankful for, you know, environmental programs in the United States, because there, like, Shelby actually got sick. The quality of air was so terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's not everywhere in China, but like specifically we were in Qingdao.
But I got sick in Beijing.
Yeah, Qingdao and Beijing. But yeah, just so many people, so many pollutants. You could see it in the air. Like, the air was thick and like cloudy and dirty, and yeah, Shelby got like a little upper respiratory issues while we were there, like immediately.
Even though I was wearing a
scary.
mask too, by the way, and an N95 mask I think we had at the time.
Yeah,
So
it was pretty crazy.
I don't, but I love China. I would love to go back because it felt like it just happened so fast. And we really particularly like that you can get bomb-ass Chinese food for like $2. That was so cool, and I would love to go back, but going to a country where I don't speak the language is very intimidating to me. And Chinese was hard for me to learn. Like, we had Chinese lesson, or Mandarin, I guess you would say, lessons every day. And I'm just so bad at, I was bad at learning Spanish. Like, I don't know, languages are hard for me, and I don't expect anyone to speak English, but I am just very intimidated to travel places that don't speak my language. It was a lot easier because we went with our class. So we had guides and other students and our professor and all that. So I don't know. There are also so many places in the world to visit if we would ever go back. So
Yeah, that's so true. It was really nice though, but yeah, there were things that were pretty funny. Like, again, there was a language barrier, and we wouldn't always have our guide, but we kept trying to take like public transportation to get places, and we would take the bus, and then the bus would just drop us off in the middle of nowhere.
we would go to night markets at night. So then we would try to take the bus back to our dorm, and then the bus would just drop us off in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and we're
at
like
10:30 at night.
We're like, okay, so this is not where we want to be, but like we can't communicate with anyone, and they're just like, they're signaling to us, right? They're like, get off the bus. Like, you need to get off the bus. We would just end up walking back in the dark, and it happened to us several times.
Yeah.
But just little quirky things like that. But yeah, so.
That's China. So the next question is one that I've addressed in like every Q&A I've ever done. So I don't want to talk about this too much, but it says, how do I inform my friends about being sustainable without coming off as preachy? And I don't know. I'm always telling people, like, if you come to me for advice of how to convince someone to be sustainable, how to talk to your friends and family, like all that kind of thing, my answer is I don't know, because I've never been able to convince literally almost anyone to do anything. Yeah. Like, maybe, yeah, I was gonna say you. Okay, so here's what, if Madison can remember to look through this video and link this video in the card up here and in the description. But Madison and I did a video about switching swaps that I was able to convince her to do, and swaps that I wasn't able to convince her to do. And then at the end of that video, we kind of talk about do's and don'ts of talking to like your friends and family. So I don't want to spend too much time here. Also, because this channel is not necessarily based on that, I don't want to take too much time because I have a whole video about it. So go check that.
I just let Shelby answer that one because, yeah, that's her jam right there. The next one. Have you two ever had any major fights? How did you resolve it? Guys, we have fights just like everyone has fights. And we just kind of work through them. I mean, I'm a big proponent of therapy. Like, there's nothing wrong with people having issues and like seeking help in that way, because everybody has their different styles of communication. But I feel like as long as each of you are willing to like keep trying and no one gives up, then I mean, that's just kind of how you gotta roll with the punches, right? Unless you were in a relationship with yourself, right, and you know how to communicate with yourself, obviously, and what you want, that's the only way. You're never gonna get into a fight.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that the question is, do you guys ever get into big fights? Because
Everyone does,
I personally think if you're not fighting with your partner, you're probably not having very great communication, because I feel like you learn things about the person you're with and you have disagreements, and no two people are just like, I don't know, perfect. That's my experience in life. And like Madison and I, our biggest struggle is, like she said, communication. And it's been years of us trying to work on communication, and we still are not perfect at it, and we've been to couples therapy.
We're just still working on it every single day.
Yeah,
just gotta keep talking to one another, trying.
Yeah, it's really just conversations and trying to see the other person's perspective, and holding yourself accountable and actually making the changes that you discuss.
So this one says, can you talk about eco-anxiety? You're trying to be low waste but suffering from anxiety/depression.
I have anxiety and I get depression every year around this time of year. I don't even really know what the correlation there is, but I'm not an expert in this area, but I'll just say that like I've learned, and also I have control issues, so anxiety, depression, and control issues, and all of those things, dealing with them for years, and just trying to find a way to, not have them impact my life so much. I've had to learn to only give my energy to things that I personally can control, and not give my energy and attention to things that I can't. So especially when I'm going through my depressive episodes that last, I'd say, a month or two, right around the beginning of fall every year, a lot of things start to slip, I guess, in my life. My routines are pretty much the same, but what I'm eating will probably change. The waste that comes from that will probably change. I feel like that's really the only thing that changes when I'm feeling depressed. When I'm feeling depression. But on a daily basis, the way I manage my anxiety is only focusing my attention on things that I can control, and learning to detach from the things that I can't. And I know that that is incredibly much easier said than done, but that's what I do.
Very good. Very nice. And then the last question we have, which we only got 6. But
Madison doesn't have a lot of followers, so they were all good questions.
They were all good questions, and it gave us content. Shout out to all 6 of you all for that. So yeah, we'll go on to the last question, which is, this is directed at me. Would you ever join Shelby doing YouTube/content as a full-time job? And the answer is yes.
I didn't know the answer to this. I was waiting to see what she would say.
Yeah, so originally what our kind of plan was when Shelby even started her YouTube channel was we were really big on van life. We kind of were watching the videos and super stoked and wanting to do that really bad. And the goal was to make it kind of she was like, all right, we just need really good B-roll and we'll document everything and it's going to be great. But if you're trying to do anything outside of your 9 to 5, make sure you have that locked in before you quit your 9 to 5, right?
We know too many people who have.
Yeah, so basically I have a job where I could kind of work remotely, but it wasn't fully remotely at the time, but I was trying to work my way to become fully remotely so I could take that on the road, and then we could also be doing our van life vlogging thing part-time. But life took a bit of a different route, and here we are. And
a lot different than we ever anticipated.
A lot different. There's been a lot of stuff that's gone down, but at the end of the day, being cooped up inside with COVID is kind of given me a new purpose on fitness, and as Shelby will tell you, I'm really big on balance, but fitness and trying to find side grind stuff and mental health and what have you. So honestly, it'd be really cool if I kept staying consistent with posting for you all and eventually was able to do this full time with Shelby. So it'd be really cool.
Think you would want to quit your job to be a vlogger?
I think, yeah, it's fun creating content. I really do enjoy it, thoroughly. It's cool, when I watch stuff back, I'm actually really proud of it. I don't know, 1 video a week I think is gonna be what I work with now, because guys, honestly, I'm recording this on Friday and it's going up Saturday because I dropped that birthday vlog part 2 for you on Wednesday. But we'll get there. It's fun to create, and it kind of motivates me even to go do stuff. But in COVID times when you're not doing anything, it's do y'all literally just want to see me chilling around the house in my pajamas eating snacks? So
that is not that common.
Just trying to find a good balance there.
Still want to talk on this one a little bit because I find it interesting that you see how stressful, time-induced, time-consuming maybe this job is, and because it's such a weird thing, because when I was working my 8 to 5 job, I really wanted to be able to make my own schedule. Like, I wanted so badly to not have to wake up so early in the morning because I am most productive at night. And I wanted that so badly. And now sometimes, because of how demanding this job is, I find myself some days being like, and I wish that at 5 o'clock, like, that was it, that there was nothing else I could do. And I just think it's very interesting because you see the behind the scenes of how much this job impacts me, or like takes out of me, I guess I should say. So for you to say still that you think that you would want to do this full time, it's interesting to me.
We'll see how crazy things get. There's just also this thing with like documentation of your life and being able to go back and like look at this stuff when you're old, and it always kind of living in a place that is really cool.
But that's different than doing it as a job.
I know.
Keeping it as a side hustle and doing it as something that's fun and you want to look back on is different than making it your job.
I guess that goes to say, or all of that just to say, like, yes, again, but we'll see how it goes. Like, we're all on our own little journey together through COVID times. So, but all of that to say, we'll probably do one of these again. I honestly like vlogging more than Q&As.
Yeah, your voice is very, like, you sound not as comfortable. But that'll come with time. Like, I'm so comfortable talking to a camera now that I think probably other people think it's weird.
Maybe, but yeah, it just feels weird. I'll get used to it. Vlogging is definitely, I don't know, I just like it better.
The thing about sitting videos like this is, like, you are right now speaking like your normal monotone, like very calm voice, whereas on camera that's gonna come off, maybe it won't, maybe you guys don't think so, but a lot of times that will come off as like uninterested, bored, and like, so you kind of have to like really turn yourself on for your personality to come through on video. I find you're just very chill. So
okay. Well, next time I'll work on turning it on for you guys during our next Q&A and work on not being so monotone, even though my voice only has one tone. But guys, that's all we have for today. So thank you for being here with Madison and Shell Bizzle. I'm sorry that Tip Hizzle didn't make an appearance this go around. He's probably roaming around the, oh, I'm literally looking at the freaking mic. Anyway.
He's laying right there licking his paw.
Yeah. We'll call this the end of the video for today, guys. So, until next time, create the peace.
Catch you later, Battle Bees.